Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and we've got some massive breaking news for you today. It's just come out in the last maybe 10 minutes or so that Jim Ratcliffe has officially completed his 25% takeover of Manchester United. Let me zoom in on it here and we'll get right into it. Jim Ratcliffe has completed his 25% takeover of Manchester United as per the New York Stock Exchange. Massive breaking news. But look, I mean, it's not coming as a huge surprise. Obviously, we've seen over the last week or so that obviously, I think first and foremost, was it the FA that I think it was the Premier League that ratified it first, and then we were just waiting on the FA. So everything is done and dusted. Jim Ratcliffe is officially 25% co-owner. I think it's meant to rise to 20. I've got actually in the title of the video, 27.7%, I think, or something. It's eventually going to rise to, given, I don't know, something in the background with the shares and the stock price or whatever the case may be. But it's absolutely fantastic news for Manchester United fans. It's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for some good news. Obviously, we knew this was on the cards for the last few months, and now it's officially here. It's really, really good news, thankfully. Jim Ratcliffe has released a statement himself. Now, obviously, we're not getting a massive amount at the moment. Obviously, there might be some more breaking statements as we're live. But he does say to become co-owner of Manchester United is a great honour and comes with great responsibility. This marks the completion of the transaction, but just the beginning of our journey to take Manchester United back to the top of English, European and world football. Ah, yes, that's what I like to hear, Big Jim. So look, I mean, all well and good, and we also had to have a little report or a little statement from the Weasel, Joel Glazer. I would like to welcome Sir Jim as co-owner and look forward to working closely, with him and Ineos Sport to deliver a bright future for Manchester United. I think the brightest future United could have is if you just took a long walk off a sharp pier and just let Jim go on with it himself. But look, it's really, really good news. It has to be said. It's really good news. And I think over the next few days, we're probably going to see a sit-down interview with Jim Ratcliffe. We're most definitely going to get more insights into what his plans actually are for Manchester United. And I think the sooner that happens, then the better. And, you know, the more details we get, and it can only be positive. It really, really can. It can only be positive. There is let me just have a look here now, because there's a video been updated as well. So here we go. Let me just do that. So we'll read it as it goes. To become co-owner of Manchester United is a great honour. It comes with great responsibility. We read that bit already. This is obviously coming from Jim Ratcliffe. It marks the completion of the transaction, but just the beginning of our journey to take Manchester United back to the top of English, European and world football with world-class facilities to our fans. Work to achieve those objectives will accelerate from today. And there you go, Ineos. I mean, the colours have changed to red. Absolutely unbelievable. Great to see. And it's the start of some exciting times for Manchester United, it has to be said. I mean, obviously, like I said, we're probably going to get an inkling into what he's, going to do, what he wants to do, maybe in the coming months and weeks, months, years. I was reading a report today as well that supposedly there is a 5 transfer window plan for Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos to basically turn Manchester United around. So you're talking summer, January, summer, January, summer. So we're basically talking 2.5 years from now. 2.5 to 3 years basically is the time frame he's given himself. Now again, obviously some of these reports you would take with a pinch of salt, but I think it's a realistic timeline, I have to say. I think if you're looking at Radcliffe coming in and you're looking at, realistically what he can get done and the period of time in which he can actually get, I suppose, Manchester United turned around. We know how dire it's been for Manchester United as of late. And there's an awful lot of work to do. There really, really is. I think 2.5 years, of a transfer window, 2.5 years of plans of going into the transfer market. Again, we know what needs to be done behind the scenes as well. And I think, yeah, I think it's going to be very positive. I do. I really do. I think it's going to be very positive. It can only be positive. It can only be, it can only go, well, it can go in two directions. But given the direction that we've been going in under the Glazer leadership over the last 18, 19, 20 years, it's finally, we're finally getting some positivity there, which is absolutely brilliant. Matthew was saying here, finally taking some time. How's everyone doing? Good to see you, pal. Ben says, does that mean I can go to the club shop again now, finally? Absolutely. Jack, just the word plans is music to my ear. Yeah, there we go. A bit of direction is all we're looking for. Now, look, I still do think as fans, we do need to have a lot of patience, because we know how poorly Manchester United have been run over the last 11 or, well, minimum 10 to 11 years since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Obviously, the Glazers have been there longer. And the mismanagement, over that period of time has subsequently caught up with us. So I do think we need some patience as fans. It's not going to be, we're not going to be challenging for the title next season. It's just not going to be the case. It's going to be a slow, steady process. But as long as we're seeing progress, and as long as there's, plans in place, and we're seeing, of course, we're already seeing at the moment, very instrumental people being sought after for important roles within United. Omar Barada is already there. Dan Ashworth is very close. Dave Brailsford is going to be part of the scene. We've got Jean-Claude Blanc is going to be part of, obviously, the Ineos team as well. These are all people that are very established within their areas of expertise. And Manchester United are going to be acquiring these people and getting them working all in and pulling all in the same direction, which is absolutely fantastic. It really is. But like I said, patience is going to be key. It really is. Like we were saying about that report, if it's a 5 transfer window plan under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, we're not going to get a massive overhaul this summer. Now, you would like to see some progress. I've seen a report today suggesting as well that if interest is shown, then Manchester United are going to go for a double swoop of Harry Kane and Frankie de Jong. Now, that might be very, very much wishful thinking, and I would be absolutely shocked if that was ever to happen. But I think for that reason alone, United fans, we do need to be patient here now. It's not going to be a one transfer window turnaround where we're instantly challenging for the league title. It's just not going to be the case. Look at how long it took Jurgen Klopp. Look how long it took Pep Guardiola after cheating his way to it with Man City and all of the money that they've spent. So, more than anything else for Manchester United fans, there is now light in the direction that we're going in. And I think that's all we've wanted. That's all we've wanted over the past few years. With the Glazers there basically driving the bus blindfolded into a brick wall. And it's very positive news for Manchester United. The league is shook. United will be back, says Arsenal for life. Well, look, I'm not going to get too carried away. We'll leave that to the Arsenal fans. Look, we're not going to be challenging for the league title next season. But if you're talking about summer transfer window coming up, January transfer window next year, and then another summer transfer window then a few months later, 3 transfer windows, you would hope the following season United would be, looking at potentially going head-to-head with the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool if they're still there after Klopp leaves, whatever it may be. I think we have to just start showing some kind of progression towards getting back to not winning it, but just challenging for it. If this time 2 years we are kind of similar to what Arsenal are, challenging for league titles, not necessarily winning them, but just being in the conversation, then I think the majority of Manchester United fans will be very happy. But I think it starts from the top down, and that's the way it has to be. I really do believe that. I think we have to. signing one or two players or three or four players in the summer transfer window is not going to get Manchester United, consistently back to the top. And I think Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are going about it the right way. They're putting the most important people first in charge. They're getting that right. Your CEOs, your director of footballs, your sporting directors, your whatever else maybe. I'm not sure about the layers and the levels that you could potentially put in place. But that is what's most important, because players come and go and managers come and go. But you would hope that the structure behind the scene, which are your owner, CEO, sporting director, football director, head of scouting, coaches, staff, whatever it may be, are all there behind the scenes pulling into one direction. And I think if that is the case, then I think, you're giving yourself that foundation to be successful. We do have to be very patient. I will be reiterating this point for a long, long time. Let's not get too carried away. It's absolutely fantastic news. It really, really is. We've got someone in that's taking control of the footballing side of United. There has been reports over the last couple of weeks suggesting that Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe are going to be getting an awful lot more to do with the commercial side as well. Basically, the initial reports when Jim Ratcliffe, he was successful in the race to take over United. It was announced that he would be taking over the footballing side and leaving the Glazers and all of that under the commercial side. Now, if you're looking at somebody like Omar Barada, who has been brought in specifically by Jim Ratcliffe, that's an Ineos appointment. And if you look at Jean-Claude Blanc, who's going to be part of the not the footballing side, but the commercial side, he's actually an Ineos employee. He's not officially going to be employed by Manchester United. It's going to be under the Ineos umbrella. Then you would be thinking that, Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are going to have an awful lot more to do with the commercial side of Manchester United. So I think behind the scenes, we've got new owners here. I really do. Now, the value and the ownership and that percentage stake that he has might not, show that. And I'm not sure, down the line, what will it come to a head if Jim Ratcliffe wants to buy it all. What are the legal ramifications around that? I'm not 100% sure. But in terms of the everyday running of the club, I think it's now Ineos more than anything else. I think the Glazers are going to really, really take a back seat now and allow Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos to run the football. And I think the Glazers are probably happy with that. I think specifically over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I think they're probably thinking to themselves, we're not getting this right and we're not turning this around. And I think they've probably realised that, look, if we can keep a stake in Manchester United, allow someone else to run it, increase the value, then it can only be a positive from a Glazer standpoint if they are to sell. Now, we do know that they're not able to take out dividends, I think, for the first 2 years of Ineos being involved in the club. But in them 2 years, if Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos do a really good job and increase the value of the club and so on and so forth, then it's only a win for the Glazers. Now, I don't think Jim Ratcliffe is coming in and investing all of this money for the end goal is to have 25% of Manchester United. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think Jim Ratcliffe is too ambitious. He's too long in the tooth and has been around for far too long to go in as a puppet under the Glazers. I think he wants full ownership. And I hope over the next maybe 3 to 6 years that we can see Jim Ratcliffe being the full owner of Manchester United. I do have to stop as well for a second and say all of these fucking muppets online that were slating Jim Ratcliffe, Manchester United fans that were slating Jim Ratcliffe, the rat they were calling him, so on and so forth. An awful lot of them have changed their tune ever since, with all of the positivity now coming out around the club. When I said I wanted Qatar to take over Manchester United, I was 100% truthful because I wanted the Glazers completely gone, like 99.9% of Manchester United fans. However, when Jim Ratcliffe was announced as the winner, I was saying, okay, let's, it's a stepping stone. We heard that he's going to be taking over the footballing side. Brilliant. That's what we want to improve, don't we? Manchester United have been making money under the Glazers the last, 19 years. The problem has been since Sir Alex Ferguson left is the football and how that structure is managed and how it's done within a club of Manchester United, and it hasn't been good. So, an awful lot of people have changed their tune very, very quickly. And look, as a fan base, we need to unite now. It's a very exciting time now as a Manchester United fan. Jim Ratcliffe is here. He's here to stay, and he seems to be doing all the right things and making all the right noises, and long may it continue. Neverworld says, the only way we can go from this is upwards. There you go, and that's the positivity we need to have. Again, we don't want in 6 months' time or in 12 months' time, if everything is not going rosy and we're not challenging for the league title and it's still top four, it's okay. Be patient. Be patient. Because at the end of the day, it's a process. You can't turn. It doesn't have to take 10 years, though. It really, really doesn't. Look at Man City, for example. When their owner took over, I think it was 2008, they won the league 4 years later. 4 years later, they won the league. And they were in a much worse off place than we are now. So it doesn't have to take forever. It really, really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. Now, we know they were cooking the books and allegedly and, pumping money in when they shouldn't have been. But Manchester United have got massive revenue behind them. We earn an awful lot of money. If we can sell players right, buy players correctly and not get, absolutely roasted for transfer fees and pay salaries correctly and grow the commercial side as well. If you look at where Manchester United were commercially before the Glazers took over, we were head and shoulders above every team on every club on the planet. We were number one commercially. And the rise of Manchester United from maybe the mid-1990s to the mid-2000s when the Glazers took over, if that ascension had continued to the present day, we would be out of sight of every club on the face of the planet. We really, really would. So don't be, naive enough to think that the Glazers have done a great job commercially either. There's still an awful lot of room for improvement there. And if we've got the likes of Jean-Claude Blanc there, who's an absolute expert at that kind of stuff. We seen what he done with Juventus, with PSG. And he turned PSG into a global brand, getting, Air Jordan as a sponsor on the jerseys. It was nearly a fashion, brilliant work done there. Manchester United have got an awful lot of room in that area to grow. And if that area grows, Manchester United earn more, so then we can spend more. It's as simple as that. If you grow the commercial side of the business, you will be able to spend more money on the football side. It's as simple as that. That's basically what financial fair play is. Now, for a club like Manchester United, it's a massive benefit. For a club like Everton, for example, that don't necessarily have a global fan base, they're always going to be limited to what they can spend because they don't earn as much as a Manchester United. And I think that's where City have been allegedly cooking the books. Let's see. Neverworld says, I will admit I was sceptical. However, as soon as it was confirmed it was full control of footballing, I was very excited. And Colin says, I'd give him a chance. We went through a lot of crap from the Glazers. We did. Absolutely, we did. But look, guys, Jim Ratcliffe is in. He's got 25%, and it's all great. It's great news. Aaron says, can't wait to see a full sit-down interview with Sir Jim. Firstly, one by Manchester United, but also one by someone like Gary Neville, who would ask the questions that we want to hear the answers to. Yeah, I would like to see maybe, I would like to see him sit down with a fan channel, United Community Channel, No, but on all seriousness, I would, because he would get questions there that he might not get off of Sky Sports News or even Gary Neville, for example. If he was coming on here, I would ask him straight away, have you got a plan to full ownership? That's what I would say to him, first and foremost. And what's the power struggle there going to be like between you and the Glazers? Do you have the power to do this or do that, or whatever the case may be? That's what I would be asking him. But look, Jim Ratcliffe is the new 25% owner of Manchester United. Absolutely fantastic news. positivity surrounding the club now is really, really good. We're picking up points on the pitch as well, which is also helpful. But as fans, like I said, we have to remain patient. This is not going to be an overnight, turnaround. We're not going to be, more than likely, not going to be challenging for the league title next season. We have to have some patience. It's going to take a little bit of time, but he's putting the right things in place. He's putting the CEOs, the directors of football, all of the important jobs. He's lining these ducks in a row. And he's given us the best opportunity to be successful in the future. Maybe not next season, but maybe the season after that and the season after that. It's really, really exciting news to be a Manchester United fan. Jim is in. Jim will fix it. Let's hope so. But let me know what you think, guys. Obviously in the comment section below. And yeah, nice little quick. Live tonight, just said we go break the news to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Please smash a like on the video if you haven't already done so. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Subscriber count is flying up. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers as well. So if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. Helps us out an awful lot. I'll be back in the morning with the morning news. Hopefully we'll have some more updates between now and then, and some more comments from Jim Ratcliffe. And I'll bring it to you first thing tomorrow morning as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good evening, and I'll chat to you soon. Take it easy.